Today we are talking about You Don't Own Me, letting go in parent-child relationships. And I'm very glad that you're here today with us. My name is Inken Schubert. I'm an account manager at INSITE, and I will be the host of this event. And as you can see, I'm not alone. I've brought two colleagues, and I'd like them to introduce themselves. Katrin, would you start to introduce yourself? You're the expert today.
Yes, my name is Katrin Guist. I'm the expert today. I'm a psychotherapist for children and adolescents. It's psychodynamic. In German, we call it tiefenpsychologisch. Yes, and I'm a counselor for INSITE since 9 years, I think. Yeah. And now Nina.
Nina.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome, everyone. Happy that you're here today. And my name is Nina. I'm a consultant with INSITE as well. And I'm here today to take care of your questions and to look over the technical aspects of this meeting. So first of all, to introduce you to this platform, if you have not been on here yet, you can move around all windows that you see in front of you. You can enlarge them. You can delete them. I was about to say, but mark them so that you don't see them. And you have a very important field in your display, and that's our chat function. With that chat function, you are able to put in your questions for us. And whenever you press the button send, you will not see the question anymore. No worries, it will arrive here at our end, but without stating your name. So you are completely anonymous, and I will try to include your questions in the talk between Inken and Katrin. Please be aware that sometimes when questions get too specific or too individual, we can sometimes not really include them. But in those cases, please feel invited to use our consultation service, our counseling service, so that your individual situation can be discussed. And also sometimes we receive a lot of questions so that we cannot touch on all of them. Same applies here. Please, our invitation to call us and to discuss your case with us. I will not be seen for most of the time. I will switch off my camera so that you can focus on Inken and Katrin, who are the most important persons for today. And whenever I see a question that fits into the topic, I will come back into the picture. So don't be surprised when that happens. And now I wish you a lot of fun with today's talk.
Thank you, Nina. And you were just talking about our counseling service. Let me say a few words about INSITE. If you don't know us, you might, or if you are here today, you might know us because we are the provider of the EAP that your employer offers to you. This might be Talingo EAP or Mein EAP or Sprechstunde Psyche. And that's where you can turn to if there are any further questions we can't answer today or if it's very specific. Because of course, this live talk cannot replace an individual counseling. We just want to give you some ideas and make you think and just, talk about the topics so that you have the chance to deal with it. We're talking about parent-child relationship, and I prepared some questions more from the perspective of the parents and the ones of you who have children know that it's not always easy to let them go physically or mentally, and that sometimes it's a struggle to decide what can I or what can the child do? Where do I have to protect the child? And you always want to take care and shield the child and protect it, but nevertheless you have to let it go. So this is a problem that arises during the whole life of the child, I'd say. And Katrin, my first question is, when would you say does it actually start, this need to let go?
I would say it starts at giving birth. So, I mean, before the mom and the baby are one, it's more than symbiotic. It's just, I mean, you're still in one body. And then it starts with this big step, birth.
Although, couldn't one say it's the opposite? It seems to be a little bit counterintuitive, because when the child is born, I remember when my children were born, I didn't think about letting them go, but I thought about the opposite. I had to protect them, be attached to them. These utterly helpless babies, I had to be with them all the time. And still you say it's the first step of letting go?
Yeah, I mean, it's important that you have this feeling you have to protect this child and that you are always there. That's hopefully normal, and that's really good, because in the beginning, the baby just feels itself when the mom is around. It's so symbiotic that when the mom isn't there, or the person who is the closest one, it might be also the dad. But normally when there is a mom and a dad, or two moms or two dads, there's normally in the beginning one person who is the closest one. And if this one is not around, it might feel like not being there, because there's no mirror there. And it just starts like, I mean, you shouldn't be separated or letting go too much in this time, that's for sure. But it starts like going to the shower and not taking your child with you. That's like a tiny letting go. And then you have your child like in front of the shower, or the partner is taking care. And then those are like tiny steps where you let go.
Okay, so this is the first step. But when I prepared for this talk and thought about the life or the development of my children, I thought there were typical steps like, I don't know, when they start to crawl, and when they start to walk, and kindergarten and school, and when they move out. So are there typical milestones in the process of letting go?
Yeah, those are exactly those you said. It's like the kindergarten, it's school, it's it might be also like the music course, or some hobbies they do and which they participate without us. It's the adolescence, and also like I mean, in the adolescence, you on some days you have the feeling your child is very close and still very tiny, and on the other day you have the feeling, oh wow, what is my child saying? It's so impressive and so grown up. And that might be like both at the same time there. And I mean, also a big milestone step is like when the child moves out, whenever it is. Those are like the bigger ones.
So these are important steps for the children and for the parents as well.
Yeah, for sure, because you always have to organize yourself, or to question yourself if there's a routine, or your daily life also changes when your child doesn't go to school anymore, or when it starts with kindergarten, then you have the routine, and then the child has to be there and at a time. So the daily life, the routine changes.
Nina, there are already some questions.
Yes, here's one that is really particular and has a lot of detail in it. So I would just read it out to you if you don't mind. And it refers to the childhood that you are currently discussing about. That's why I see fit to discuss this particular one. How can I encourage my 9-year-old daughter to make healthy and environmentally conscious choices, both in what she eats and how much we consume, without making her feel anxious, fearful, or overwhelmed about environmental issues? And then it's described that she is already becoming aware of the big topics that we are facing today. And I think that's a really relevant question, especially in our today's environment. So do you have any tips for this particular question?
I mean, the question is now, does the mom want that the child feels like safe? Or is it the child who wants to take her steps and she's just insecure herself? That's always the question, how I would start.
From the phrasing of the question, I would assume that she would like to teach her without making her anxious.
And without giving her the pressure. Okay. I mean, then it's always the question, how was it for the mom or the dad when she was in this age and took her own steps? And then it's the question, I mean, she wants to teach her, but probably with 9, she already has a few own steps. Is she anxious? Why is she anxious? So it depends on the situation. Yeah, it's always a bit the question, is she pushing her child, or is she just seeing that she's a bit afraid of situations? And then it's always about like giving her the safety, and that she knows, okay, mom is there, and if you're insecure, it's okay to show me, and I will give you the situation that you feel like safe again. So children can just go or just leave if they have the feeling there's my safe home and I can return always. And it might happen that they often need their returns if they feel insecure, but if they feel safe again, then it should be like easier to leave.
Yeah, thank you. And if we have not given an answer to the individual situation, then please call us for with the Mein ERP to discuss. But we have another question actually referring to a similar situation that is a little bit more specific, and this goes into the direction of body consciousness and being a person with a strong sweet tooth at the same time. And here the question is about how can I encourage to eat healthy without frustrating her? I think that's kind of a similar direction than a question before.
That's not easy, because on the one hand, you want them to take their own choices, and on the other hand, I mean, you want the child to be healthy. And it's always easy. I mean, it starts with yourself. If you are a good role model and they just see at your behavior how it is healthy, how it is right, or how you have the feeling it should be right, then it is the easiest way. And it's also important to tell the child, you know what, sometimes I have the feeling I want to support you the best way, but it makes me sometimes insecure. Do you need more help, or how do you have an idea what would be how I can support you, or would it be helpful if I don't say that much? It's always about communication as well. If they have like this age where you can speak with them, it's always helpful to also show them that it also might be a topic of yourself. Then it often takes a bit of their topic away if you also have this feeling that you have a topic. with it.
Perfect. Thank you, Katrin.
So this is interesting. I have the feeling we have come right to the center of the problem, that as a parent you want a happy child. You want that your child is going to have a happy life, and you want to prepare everything for it, and you have your own ideas, and you want your child to learn a lot. And on the other hand, you have to let the child make their own experiences and make their own decisions, and let them go. And sometimes you just can't do anything else than just say, okay, if this is what you want, so just go ahead. I'm here waiting for you, and this is your safe place.
Yeah, that's the important thing, that it's the speed of the child and not of the parents. So it might be helpful if the parents say, you know what, you're allowed to take your own steps, but in the end, they have to find their own speed. I mean, speed is already fast, right? But they're their own.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, speed.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else you wanted to say?
Yeah, I was thinking about, it's also about the role as a parent. You're always the giving one, and the child one is the one who is like the taking one. So they are allowed to just take your love and just we have to watch sometimes as parents what is the right. The children often know what feels right for them, and it's always important to ask them or to support them, and not to have a look what feels just right for you. So to question yourself sometimes is good. Not always. Parents shouldn't question themselves always, but sometimes to ask the child how it feels.
Okay. That's interesting. So leave the level of the communication and go to a higher level, and ask the child what it needs. Did I understand this?
Yes.
Okay. So even ask the child, do you need more freedom, or do you need me to give you more rules?
I mean, if you are thinking about, as a parent, about it, is it right or not? The children are often like really, they don't think that much. When they are young, they just tell you. I mean, they also tell you sometimes it might be unfriendly how they communicate. They are just like open books. They just tell you. They also tell the teachers or in kindergarten what just has happened. And that's helpful. So they shouldn't be the ones who have like the responsibility for it, but it is important to ask them how it feels. And if they have the feeling, if there's enough room, that they have the feeling that we let them go as parents, or not. So always, if there's a topic which parents make them question or think about, it's okay to ask the child, not for the solution, but how it feels for the child. Yeah.
Okay. You just said the parents are the giving ones and the child is the taking. The children are the taking ones. What did you mean by that?
That it's important that it feels right for the child. I mean, sometimes there are also parents want to have their own space, or they have like an idea how it would be good, but in the end it has to feel right for the child. I mean, for the parents also, but it has to feel right when the child feels safe enough for the step. That's what I meant. Okay.
So for the step, you mean for the step of breaking away a little bit further from the parents, and what do I need for creating or enforcing a healthy letting go for both sides?
Yeah, I mean, there needs to be a basic trust. So the feeling that I can always come back. I mean, it may be just on the playground. Yeah, there it's also a bit like letting go and knowing they are doing something and they are safe. And they need like their basic trust that their parents are always there, that they are safe, and that they can return when they need it. And that it's okay to struggle sometimes. I mean, it's not always like going up. It's often like a bit bumpy, or yeah, there are some waves, and that's normal. And it's often like 2 steps are forward, 1 back, and 2 are forward. So that's normal that children sometimes struggle, or that there are bigger things which make them smaller again. Yeah. So, but the basic foundation is like the basic trust that they know my parents are there no matter what happens, or my mom or my dad, that at least there's one, or I mean the grandma. Yeah, there's one close relation. I can just leave, not like leave like moving out, but I mean they can just go when they are allowed to go. Yeah.
And I suppose that the children have or can develop this trust and this stable emotional bond when they have experienced exactly this, that the parents have always been there.
Yeah, that's right. They need like a person who is mirroring them, who makes them safe, who is like there with them, like containing the emotions. Yeah, and that starts often directly. This basic trust is often a thing which happens in the first year in their development. If they're the parent is there, I mean, Winnicott named a mom like the good enough mother. So I mean, you can't be always perfect, but in general, if you are there for the child and you're trustful and you are the best version in this situation how you can be. I mean, it's normal that we are also sometimes annoyed or stressed. That's life. But in general, if there's a loving parent there, then they feel safe because it's a safe place. That doesn't mean a lot of money, but it's safe. Then they can develop, and then they can play and be children.
Okay. Nina, other questions?
Yes, there is one particular question that goes into your current discussion. And I would summarize the question as, can you overdo safety? Because the person asks that we live in a world with our children being hyper monitored, way more than children in the earlier years used to be. And the question, the person wonders in the question, how does that impact children's feelings and behavior? Because obviously this hyper monitoring cannot be maintained at all times, because there will always be situations where you cannot look at your child, or the child even is anxious because most of the time somebody is around, and when there is not, it feels like lost. So the first question is, do you have a suggestion or an idea what does that do to a child's feeling? And is there any tip that you have to break free from this dynamic?
Yeah, I think my tip is to trust your gut feeling, your belly feeling. In German, we call it Bauchgefühl. So that I mean, we don't know for now how it will be in the future for the children who got that much monitored, because I mean the adults now weren't monitored that much because the technique wasn't there. So in the end, it's also a question, how does it feel right for you as a parent, and how for the child? And that might be also like, if the parent is not sure, it's also okay to discuss with the child. Would you like to have the safety, or do you feel monitored if I can see where you are? And I think it also depends on the, yeah, if you need it for yourself, for your own safety, but then it's different to tell the child. I think then I would tell as a parent, you know what, it makes me feel more comfortable, more safe, but I don't want to control you. I want the safeness. I would always talk about it if you really have the feeling of monitoring, that it would be helpful, and it helps to discuss with the other parent how it feels right for you. In the end, I think it's important that the child also has the feeling of having own responsibility for itself. I mean, it depends on the age, but if it's going to school, I mean, many children are really proud going alone to school if it's not too far away. I mean, that depends on the situation. So it's hard to say it in general, but I would always have a look how it feels, not just being in the head, also like in the gut feeling, and to look at the situation, if it's really a need, or if it's just my anxiety, and why is the anxiety there. Yeah, I would always have a look deeper in this case.
Thank you, Katrin.
So it's also important. You just said have a look inside. So look at myself, at my own experiences, my own, yeah. How am I, to reflect on my personality, to be able to let go.
Yeah, I mean, it's always the question, how was it for the parent as a child? I mean, we're also like the children of our parents. So how was it when I was a child? Did they control me, or how were they there for me? What was helpful, what not? And also about the own anxiety. I mean, if we have the feeling it would be good to know where our children are, it's also about an anxiety we have. So that's also important to have a look, where does it come from? Was there really a situation in my life where I had the feeling it would have helpful? And if we reflect this situation, it's easier to understand how we decide in the end.
Yeah. It might be or might influence us that how other parents act, I'd say, because nowadays, for example, I imagine, I don't know this, but I imagine there are, when you are active on social media, you can find, I don't know, everything about how people raise their children, and what they do and what they don't. And all this comparing, I think this doesn't make it easier for the parents to find their own personal way.
Yeah, it doesn't make it easier. I mean, it's nice to see all the options which you have, but on the other hand, it's like really hard to decide which is your right way. And I mean, it would be nice to have just the one right way, but in the end, it always has to fit for the parent and the child in this connection. And it might be also different with one child and the other one.
Okay.
Yeah, if all of the children have like smart watches or something like this, and it's important to stay in contact, and if this child is like insecure and feels more safe, it's okay to use it. Yeah, but it's also okay to say no if it doesn't feel right.
Okay.
Yeah, but the pressure is often a thing which makes people question about it.
So I learned from what you said that it's always important to to stay with your own feelings, or to see how am I, how's my child, and what's the fitting thing for us, whatever it may be. Maybe it's a smartwatch, or if it's fits to let them go to school alone, or whatever it is. Just have a look on how are we, how, yeah, our family, our system.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nina?
That's it.
Yes, and what I also took away from what you previously said was open communication is key about all topics, basically. And now we have again a question that asks for the opposite extreme. Here is a person asking for a child that is being talked to and explained to a lot, but the child is just refusing to stick to agreements. And now there was a question to the kindergarten, and the kindergarten said, maybe you are talking too much, and maybe you are explaining too much instead of giving short commands. And now the person asks, how can we balance that also when it comes to those trust issues and letting go? So Katrin, specifically, would you say that there can also be too much communication?
It's often the case that the children show when it's too much. So if you explain the child something, and even, I mean, still, if they are in kindergarten and they just turn around or they start playing, then you notice, okay, it's too much. They are done for today. And normally the parents also notice if you have the feeling your child already understands it, if it questions the situation, or if there's a reaction, or if it's too complicated. But in the end, I'm always a fan of to explain it, that they have an explanation, and that they have the possibility to understand it. But in the end, it makes a huge difference if you have a kindergarten child there or a school child, how much they really understand.
Okay. Talking about different situations you can be in, what about single parents? I imagine that for them, the situation or the problem of letting go is even stronger than, because sometimes, or as far as I have seen or got to know, single parents, they usually have a very close relationship, and then it's even harder to let go, I imagine.
Yeah, that's also the way I see it, that it's often more symbiotic, because I mean there's no partner, and then the child often more focuses on the one who's like there. But on the other hand, it's often also the case that they have to trust the kindergarten because they need it in their organization. And so it has to function a bit more, because I mean there's no other possibility. And then it's always the question even more there, because normally, I mean, when a child is getting older, grown up, and not so much around you anymore, then others have their partner. And if you are like a single mom or dad, in the end, if your child is like leaving, it's always it's always the question what stays. If I don't have the child as a task, I mean that's not so nice, but as my daily life structure. And it's quite interesting that until 12 the children spend 80% of their time with the parents, and after 12 it's just like 20%. So it's quite a big change in life, what's happening
for both sides. And what about the difference between boys and girls. Is there any difference? What do you see in your counselings? Do people treat boys different from girls?
I mean, that's always the question. How did the parent grow up? Is there a bigger anxiety for the girls? That's often the case, that they are afraid that it might happen something on the way to school or wherever to the girl more than to the daughter more than to the son. Yeah, it's different. I mean, in the beginning, many people say before having a girl and a son, I wanted to treat them the same way, but there are differences. And it's also often a difference that when they are teenagers, that the girls are a bit more grown up in organization, their daily life a bit earlier, and the boys a bit later. But I mean, in the end, it often depends on the situation and on the child. Yeah,
Okay.
but I think there are differences. Yeah.
Ah, okay. And I'm thinking of another special situation I think some families have to experience, and this is when their parents get separated. Because I imagine that this must be a special, a very huge challenge. Also regarding this letting go the children, because or caring for the children, protecting the children, or let them go, or how can I no, that's the question.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a separation of the parents, is often the case that the child is like stepping one step smaller again.
Right.
That was a weird explanation, but I think it's understandable. So it's often, if there's an insecurity, most of the children get smaller or need more safety again. That's often what happens. And for the parents, it's weird that they don't, most of the time, they don't see the child anymore like daily. They have to trust the partner, although there's like often there is a gap in the trust, because I mean, if they are getting separated, it might have happened something, or it's not so close anymore. And in the end, it's often helpful to see each other as a parent team or still like family, because if you have a child together, you're still staying family forever. But that might happen. It might be that the child is like not, that it needs more safety and more closeness again, no matter how old it is. It might affect this. Yeah. And it might also get the child aggressive, because I mean, it's a step with which the parents take, but it's not the plan what the child planned. I mean, also the parents probably didn't plan it, but that's often a normal reaction, that the child gets mad. Because I mean, the wish of the child is always that the parents stay together, and they want to focus on their next steps, or the next peer group meetings, and not like on this insecure situation.
And as you said before, the most important thing is this trust and this safe space at home. And if they feel that this safe space is lacking or is vanishing, this might be very struggling or difficult.
That is difficult, but in the end, it's also helpful if the child gets mad and aggressive. That's always a sign of a safe bond, because no matter when, it doesn't have to be in the separation situation. It's just normal that a child sometimes is aggressive and mad, and normally that's the situation where the parent might be like, I did good because it's good. They need to have the feeling that the parents are a bit like stupid, yeah, not so cool anymore, no matter how cool they are. But it's important to get a bit more distance of them to feel able to move out one day. So there has to, when it starts so symbiotic, it's normal that the child notices after 1 year, okay, we are two people and not one anymore, and that they get a bit more distance.
So these struggles and this that the children are mad at the parents, this often happens during adolescence. So I think this also is a very important step in letting go or breaking free from the parents. This fighting and being mad at the parents.
Yeah, that they have the feeling I'm allowed to go. I don't have a function in this family. And if they would be like so happy with the parents, having them all around, it would be harder to go away one day. So they have they have to have different opinions. I mean, not everywhere, but in some parts, they have to see it different. And if it's just the way you dress, and they say, "Oh, that's not modern anymore," that's often what happens.
Yeah. But talking about adolescence, this is a typical situation where the children want more freedom and want to break free, and on the other hand, the parents are concerned and they want to protect their children and won't allow them to stay overnight, I don't know, wherever, and go to this party, and so this is a typical conflict during adolescence. How can I navigate through these years without damaging the relationship and without damaging the child?
Yeah, it's again about the trust, the gut feeling, your belly feeling. It's important to see what rule is really important, which safety is important, and what is okay to allow them. And it's also about the trust that the child is able able to do their own things. I mean, to do tiny own things and then bigger own things. That's how it starts. And maybe I think the thing is, it's okay to have discussions. The only thing is, when discussions or communication ends, then there is no bond anymore. So maybe it's part of the adolescence to have this conflicts or these discussions. I mean, it depends how big this conflict gets, but it's normal that you don't agree all the time. But it's also normal to have rules and to say this is limited, and then you have to be back at home.
So these limits can give security to both sides.
Yeah. In the end, it gives security. And in the end, the parents always want to have their children safe. So there has to be some limits in the end.
Okay. And then I'd say the ultimate letting go is when the children are leaving the house, I don't know, moving out, going for further steps after school. So this is a phase which could be very hard for both sides.
Yeah, that's often the case, that it's like a really big step, and that it's not easy for the child, because now it is really alone. But normally it sometimes might feel a bit like, oh wow, now I'm responsible for myself. But normally children know the number of the parents and can call them whenever, or they come around. And if they're insecure, it's often that they are just coming to wash their clothes at home, but if you have a look, it's probably not because of washing just the clothes. It's also just like because they want to have like the communication, seeing the mom or the dad for a short time, having a reason to come around. Yeah, and especially for the parents, I mean, that's a big thing. Before that, you were like for 18, 20, how much, for many years, parent in the first way or the second. But yeah, it's often a thing which makes which structures our day. And if then the child is like going away for, I don't know, to study or I don't know, for anything, it's always the question, and now what? What is still there? And it's often an identity question as well for the parents, and a couple question. Are we still a couple? How is it when the children are not around anymore?
Yeah, I agree totally. That's what I experienced when my children moved out, and it's between relief and on the other hand, the question, as you said, what are we going to do now? How do we spend our days? How do we spend our weekends? And this is a new phase in life, I'd say.
Yeah, and there the communication often helps. I mean, it's okay to say as a mom, you know what, it's not that easy for me for now, but that's okay. I can handle it. It's not your responsibility, but how does it feel for you? Do you also sometimes struggle, or is it just my being a mom and being not overprotective, but still, I mean, it was your baby. I mean, and we are always like a bit later when the child is like developing next steps. It's sometimes hard to really understand, to have the process that they are like now able to do the next step and that they are grown up. Parents often see their children still a bit more tiny, because in the end, that's also the place where they are allowed to show that they are still insecure.
And now another question is coming to my mind. But before, I would like to ask Nina if there are any further questions which are fitting right now.
Yes, there's one more, and that's really focusing on finding the right balance between trusting and security at a certain age. And this particular case is for a 12-year-old daughter, but I think it's a very valid question for a lot of parents with children in different ages. How do I know what is the right amount of trust versus not enough security? Is there anything you can have as a tip for parents?
Yeah, the question is if you know it or if it's a feeling. So,
well, I can give you more background for this particular case. It's there are some examples on. So it's a 12-year-old girl, and there are some questions on handling her phone. For example, should I as a mother ask her to keep her phone away for the night? Am I allowed to check her location when she's playing outside with a friend? Can I ask her to show me what she's doing on her phone? All those aspects around the mobile phone are the particular ones here.
Yeah, I think I would communicate it with the child that they are, I mean, in the end, there's also an anxiety that something bad might happen. And it's okay to talk with her and to say, you know what, sometimes I'm afraid that you use your phone in a way which might get dangerous, or and I think it's okay to say, you know what, when it's bedtime, then the phone has to stay out I think it's okay to have rules. The question is, if she's just playing outside, I mean, that's probably the same what the mom did when she was younger, then it's okay to question, did you feel safe when you were a child? Is it okay, safe enough in your neighborhood? Are there some places where I think it might be dangerous? Is it important to have a look where your child is or not? So to question it, is it only your anxiety, or is there really like
Danger.
a danger? Yeah, that's right. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. We were just talking about the situation of moving out. What about the situation when you have moved out as a child, no? From the perspective of an adult child, I have moved out, and my children, my parents still aren't able to let me go. This might also be is a problem.
Yeah, I mean, then it's always important to have a look what function you have and why. Yeah, if you are always, as I said, the child is always the one who is like receiving and the parents are the giving ones. So in this case, you as the child, the adult child, are allowed to say, stop, this is my, there it has to stop, or this is my, to allow the demarcation, and to say there's my limit, or it's too much for me. I'm sorry, it's not against you, but for me it doesn't feel right. We call it parentification if the child is fulfilling a role of the parents, and that shouldn't happen. And if you as adults have the feeling that you fulfill something for your parents, that's not your role. And it's always important to question the role from both sides. For me as a child, and for me as, in my case, it would be a mom. Yeah. Is there a function for the child, or is it really because the parent wants to have the child safe? And as in the position of the child, it's okay to say stop, or there's my border, or that doesn't feel right, I'm sorry, or I don't feel that insecure in this case. It's okay. If you feel insecure as my parent, then please.
It's your problem.
Yeah, it's your problem. I'm not responsible for that. That's important. The children are not responsible for their parents.
That's a good sentence.
Yeah, it changes a bit when they are like really, really old and not able to look for themselves. I mean, then it changes that. I mean, we don't want our parents to die because they don't get treatment or help. Yeah, that's different. Then it changes. But before, the children are not responsible for their parents.
And what if it's the other way around? If my grown child, my adult child, doesn't find the way out of my life, out of my home, out of my house. If the child has problems to break free from me, and I want it to go, I want to let go, but the child doesn't want.
Yeah, then it's always the question, why do you want to let go, and why do you want to let the children leave? Do you have the feeling it would be time, and how could you support it? And then it's again about communication. Like, I mean, it's okay to tell the child, you know what, when I moved out, I was like 19, 20, 21, I don't know, 25, whenever. And that felt right for me. And now you are the same age. And I was just like questioning, how does it feel for you? Sometimes I have the feeling I would support you. Can I support you more? Or is it just helpful to stay at the safe place a bit longer? So it's again about communication, and to ask them, not because they're responsible, for this relationship, but more about like seeing how they feel.
And what if, one last question, what if indeed the relationship is reversing, like you said, when the parents are getting older and you have to take care of your parents, and the parents are the ones who need help and need to be protected and need to be cared for, and still that's what I'm experiencing at the moment, and still you have, as a child, a sort of let them go and make their own decisions and trust your old parents, although they are already old and sometimes seem to be a little lacking their abilities they had once. You still have to let them go. Let them go.
Yeah, it's always important to see your inner child, which is like sad that you don't have like this strong parent who knows everything and is always taking care for you and is always there. And then the adult part was like organizing the things which needs to be organized, a safe place for the parents or the help they need. And maybe it's both allowed to be there, like the child who is crying or sad, how it's developing, and the other part who sees which needs to be done or which needs to know that it's done to feel okay. Yeah.
So what I learn now is that all these steps during the lifetime of the children we are doing together, the children and the parents, and it's always mixed, and you have to, well, what would be your takeaway message for us before I summarize it? You could do it better. What would be your message for us?
Yeah, it's a bit as you started. It's all about communication. It's important that the parents are the giving ones and the child are the taking ones, that they don't have to fulfill a role, a task. And it's okay to struggle sometimes as a parent, or to be a bit sad that your tiny child is getting older and that you'll have to let go. And aggression is like a sign for a safe relationship. That's also something, I think, for a takeaway message.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think it's okay. It's okay now. Thank you for your interesting answers. Thank you for sharing your expertise with us. And I hope the audience has or can take away a little bit of this live talk. And if you have further individual questions or situations you want to discuss and you need to talk about, don't hesitate to call us and use the EAP counseling. That's what we're here for, just to talk about your situation and find a good solution. So thanks a lot for listening, and I wish you a pleasant day, and maybe see you next time.
Thank you, and have a nice day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.